Welcome back, brothers and sisters. Braden, Tim, Second Legacy, you're amazing, and thank you for showing up. Today, we have got to talk about one of these things of victory that we keep on seeing pop up. In fact, I'm pretty sure victory is getting more and more common, something that we have been espousing on this channel since its inception, but we're going to walk you through. Let us know what you think in the comments below, and of course, if you're enjoying the content, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn the notification bell on. And with that, Tim, we've got to dive into the island of Hawaii. Hawaii, I think they call it on the island.
Yeah, whatever they call
What
it.
they call it?
Yeah,
Whatever. It's that place with 5 of them, and it's like pretty and
it's
stuff.
just the Obama 51st state. That's all. I'm going to keep harping
Well,
on
it's
that.
actually one of the real 50s. No, it's actually one of the real 50s. It's like Guam and Puerto Rico are the other ones. Come on, guy.
No, those are. Oh yeah, they are states. What are we up to? 54? I can't remember. I have to send an email to Obama and find out. I forget because he knows.
Just don't be his chef. That's all I ask.
He really
all
did
right.
say that, folks. That's why I keep cracking the joke. He really.
Yeah, no, 100% he did. He's like
really,
57 states.
Yeah, he really didn't remember we only have 50 states. Anyway, okay, so yeah, Honolulu.
That's true. But I gotta bring you in.
Okay,
Hawaii,
beautiful
Honolulu.
place. Never been there. Go ahead.
I know. I've heard it's lovely. So this is what's very fascinating stuff right here, because as we go into this, understand there are elements here of New York sensitive places. There are elements of the Bruin decision resistance. There's elements of blue bastions, and there's also really big pieces of us kicking them right in the gonads. All right, check this out. Honolulu, this is number 10, agrees to a 4-month window to grant or deny gun carrying licenses after lawsuit over delays. Now, this was released yesterday. Okay. Now, Tim, off the rip, immediately, that doesn't sound like an overly positive thing, right?
No, it doesn't.
That sounds kind of like a right. Well, bear with me. So off the rip, it says 4 months. Yay, celebratory. It's not if you look at that as the only piece, but if you look at where it's been, there is a path towards victory here. Check this out. This is why I wanted to do this story with you. So this is number 11. Honolulu has agreed to grant or deny applications to carry guns in public within 4 months of submission in response to a lawsuit by residents who complained of delays of up to a year, according to stipulations signed by a federal judge Friday. The March lawsuit alleges that the long delays were the city's way of keeping the permitting process as restrictive as it was before the Bruin decision. That included Hawaii, which is some of the strongest nation gun laws. So this is gone. This is where it kind of ties together with New York and California. After the Bruin decision, they started dragging their feet intentionally. Multiple states did this, right? In order to prevent guns from being
coming up
handed
with
out.
crazy licensing schemes and
Exactly right.
Crazy
exactly
reasons
right.
to deny you. Yeah.
So they were just dragging their feet as a de facto may issue versus shall issue, right? Because this used to be one of the states that was a may issue, meaning we might give you the concealed carry on our timing if we decide that you deem worthy of your probable cause and reason to do it.
Right. Under may issue guidelines, they can deny you for any reason they want to. They don't even have to give you a
Correct.
reason. They say denied. And the
Exactly
Supreme Court
right.
struck that down. So all 50 states have to play by the rules of being able to get a firearm if you want one. So
Exactly correct. And that's the important piece. That now you're starting to see the whole pathway of this, right? So you started out before the Bruin decision with a may issue state that had very few gun concealed carry permits and very few guns. Then the Bruin decision came down and they started dragging their feet, and it took up to a year or more just to get a concealed carry license, depending on when they wanted to do it. And now the people of Hawaii have put a lawsuit in place in March, and a federal judge says, no, you have to have a determined date guarantee of when you're going to have this turnaround time, which is how we get to the 4 months.
Yeah, that's interesting. These states that
it's movement.
The states that the may issue or won't issue, like Illinois went before it was drug kicking and screaming through the courts. When they were told, no, you have to issue these permits, you have to allow the citizens to buy firearms and carry them. Then they thought, well, we'll just drag our feet because we aren't saying no, right? So we're just going to take our sweet time giving you permission to exercise your rights. We're not saying we're not going to do it. We're just saying that this takes us a little while, like a year or more. I wonder if it's the lawsuits over this have anything to do with the ATF suddenly going from 14 months of getting a silencer or a Form 1 or something like that to like 2 days in the last couple of months, right? I wonder if that has something to do with because they see the writing on the wall that they're losing these arguments in court, and because a right delayed is a right denied in my mind, right? So,
well, but it makes sense to do that. That's correct.
yeah.
Imagine if this was driver's licenses.
Yeah. No, you can drive. It's a free country. It may take us 10 years to get you the license, but you can do it.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
Yeah.
How all the clearance comes out for a driver's license in a couple of hours, and the background checks happen, and all of these things happen where you're perfectly legal to drive within a summation of a few hours. But for some reason, concealed carry takes about a year to get through.
And the irony of all that is driving isn't a constitutionally protected right. That literally is
Right.
a privilege. Owning a firearm is a constitutionally protected right. It's not a privilege.
Right. But that's the whole point. And you said it so well a second ago. They're getting called on the carpet because the new arguments that they put out about 10 to 15 years ago, which is the arguments that were permeating through all the time, they're starting to hit the wall of, okay, this is actually not going to carry water. Like the rights delayed is a right denied. That's very valid. Well, now it's the Bruin decision. Well, God, we have an indeterminate amount of time of when we have to be turned around. So now the court said, no, it has to be determined. That's progress. Like that's my whole point. We're moving in the right direction from May issue all the way to now you have 4 months. You have to have a determined outcome. That's big.
Yeah, it is. And again, it's like they purposely downplayed this with the header to the article. It's so funny because as you read it,
exactly.
Yeah, you might read it meaning that, well, for 4 months they're going to grant permits until this works itself through the courts. I mean, there's so many different ways to take that one sentence, right?
Right.
And then you actually get into the meat of the article. But keep in mind, the majority of people that read these articles and repost them on social media never even read the body of the message. They just read the headline and go, oh, look, supports my ideas and beliefs. And then, yeah. So, yeah, it's just kind of funny how they hide real meat underneath a misleading header.
We've done multiple videos where we've called people out for doing exactly this.
Yeah.
I mean, like, to the point where this actually provides us content because no one else reads the article. So we go in and be like, wait a minute, hold on a second.
We'll do something crazy and read the article.
We're going to do something crazy and show you what they're really saying. And people are like, wow.
Yeah.
It's like, yes. Well, let's continue, though, because I've got some more stuff for you, including some amazing quotes, which I think you'll love. This is number 12. Before the Bruin decision, which held that people have a right to carry for self-defense, which is crazy, we needed a decision for that. Anyway, Hawaii's county police chiefs rarely issued licenses for either open or concealed carry. When chiefs began to issue a trickle of concealed carry permits after Bruin, the lawsuit said Honolulu merely switched gears from almost never issuing any concealed carry permits so that there was no one with a permit to issuing permits so slowly that it has essentially kept the permitting system the same as it was prior to Bruin, completely discretionary.
Yeah.
That is a really good explanation of what they were doing. Yeah. And it's not just Hawaii, by the way. It's California and New York and Washington State, like all of them.
Yep. Well, I mean, this is
beautiful.
It is beautiful because it's put these states on notice that the courts are paying attention to this, and you're not. This isn't going to fly. And of course, this just rubs. Bruin has to probably be the most painful thing the anti-gunners have ever had to ingest and swallow.
I think so. I honestly, I think so, because the Heller decision, I'm bypassing right past that. You're not going to trip me. The Heller decision was really a pain in the butt for them. It really was, because it affirmed the right to keep. But I gotta believe that you're right with the bearing of arms, because that actually goes into the public domain where the gun controllers really like that power. I would agree. I think Bruin decision actually rubs them more than the Heller decision does, honestly.
Well, yeah, because they really struggle with the whole contextual side of the decision, right? It's like you can't just reinterpret the Second Amendment, right? Nadler was talking about in a previous video.
In a prior video, right?
You just don't just get to redefine it and then focus on these 3 words and ignore these 12 words, you know? And so I think the states are starting to realize, like, oof, this is getting ugly, because this isn't the first time we've seen them kind of back down once court cases have been filed, right? We've even seen them pull tricky stuff that we've pointed out before.
The AWB in Colorado. AWB in Colorado.
Right. And it's forcing these states to do really, really sketchy things. Things like, we'll pass a law, but we won't enforce the law right now because we just basically eked it across the finish line. We know it's going to upset the people if we actually enforce it, and may make us liable in court. So now that we got on the books, it's just going to sit there dormant, because if it sits there dormant and we don't actually charge somebody with the crime we just created, then there's no standing, and therefore they can't contest it in court. And now that we got on the books, we're just going to wait until we have the will of the population in our state to go ahead and start enforcing it.
Right.
And so they're trying all sorts of really, really sketchy political things like
underhanded,
that.
nefarious things. Yeah.
And it totally shows their hand as to what they're trying to do here. Folks, they have no respect for your rights. If they could take every single one of them, 1 through 10 and all the rest, they would take them, right? But what jams them up is the courts and the fact that people actually push back against their tyranny. And so it's frustrating to them, and they get angry and they stomp their feet and post nasty things on social media, but it's all in good fun for us because then it gives us content.
Which ironically gives us more content. That's exactly correct.
So stomp your little feet.
So, yes, go ahead, stomp it up, Davey. So now let me read you a quote from the actual lawyer who wrote the opinion or the lawsuit, and then I'm going to show you something else that they have to do by March 8th. Listen to this. I'm going to read 13 to 14, Doctor, real quick. So this is the quote. The excessive delays that my clients experience in obtaining their concealed carry licenses is indicative of a lack of commitment on the part of the government in allowing citizens to exercise their Second Amendment rights, said Alan Beck, one of the lawyers for the 3 residents in the Hawaii Firearms Coalition, which was also a plaintiff in the case. So that's the quote. Now listen to what they had to do at the end here. In addition to granting or denying applications within 120 days of submission, the city agreed to make reasonable efforts to procure and implement an online application system by March 8th, 2026. So not only do they have a 4-month window the court is forcing them to abide by, now they have committed to putting a system in place where you can actually track the process openly.
We'll see.
I'm telling. Well, I know. Listen, I said it in my video when I talked about this. That one, they don't get full credit for because it could be messed up. It could not go into place. There could be lots of stuff could go wrong. But the reason that I bring that up in the wrapping of this video is everywhere you look, the rocks are being lifted and people are being able to see the process and the making of the sausage. And it's not a good look, which is making the gun controllers back off. That's the point.
Yeah.
It's forcing them to make actions they don't want to make. That's the entire point.
Yep. And with these tyrannical actions, the fact that the press is covering them and getting articles written about it, it's putting it out there, and people are starting to get agitated, I would imagine, in the Hawaiian Islands, and that's why they're making concessions like this, because the state wouldn't just volunteer to create an online database that you can go check the application process just on its own. They would only do that in response to pressure from the population, right? And the courts.
Exactly right.
So the fact that they made that promise, whether it's kept or not, tells us that they're feeling the pressure, that they don't have the political capital they claim they have, because people on the left are out there celebrating that they've accomplished so much under the Biden administration the last 4 years. Oh, we've accomplished so much. Everything's great. We've gotten every gun control measure we want. Just go read some of the posts on Gifford's X page and Davey Hogg. They're just gloating over their accomplishments. And we sit back here scratching our heads like, what accomplishment exactly?
What are they talking about? You're losing across the board.
Yeah.
Right.
One of the most staunchly anti-gun states in the union, and you're losing there too. And you think you're winning. Please keep thinking you're winning, because this is really good for us. We're having a good time over here.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I mean, but in kind of wrapping, I know you're about to wrap it out.
Yeah.
But understand, people who are watching this, the common consensus is that the left puts up this persona of, we're taking your gun rights. It's only a matter of time. There's nothing that you can do. Sit down, shut up, and take it because the new style is here. And the fact is, they're passing things on the front in Democratic blue bastion states, which are not split power. They are only their controlled states. And they're touting them as gun control is the most popular thing in the world. And then on the back end, they are losing in the court system.
Yeah.
So understand, this happened in Hawaii, as Tim mentioned. The Hawaii Firearms Coalition, that's a local state level gun rights group that forced this change in a blue state.
Yep.
This is on their home territory. This is not in Missouri or in Florida. Like, they are literally getting stuffed in their home ground, home defense. We're in their red zone, and they're sitting there walking down the Primrose Path saying how great they are.
Yep. In a state where they have decades of anti-gun history, and all of a sudden, boom, this hits them in the face. So, yeah, I mean, it's a big deal. It's a big deal that this is happening in Hawaii. And so it's just more evidence, folks, that we are winning. Yes, when you see a loss somewhere, or some little gain that the anti-gunners may have made at state level somewhere in some small jurisdiction, you may go, oh man, this sucks. But look at the bigger picture. That's why Second Legacy exists, folks. We want you to understand that we are the majority. Our views are the most popular views. freedom will prevail. It's just, you got to give it a chance. It doesn't happen very quickly. It's at a snail's pace. It took us more than that. It took us, let's say, since the Gun Control Act of 1934, from 1934 to present, it's taken us this long to start rolling back some of the gains that the anti-gunners did make, and they did make many previously. But we're getting there. We're actually having serious conversations now about getting suppressors off the NFA, maybe getting SBRs off the NFA, slowly eroding the NFA. Yes, it was slapped on us with one vote in Congress and boom, it became law, but it's going to take us a while to undo it. And that's what we want you guys to understand, is we're here for the long fight, and we will win. We just need perseverance and some dedication, and we can get there because we are winning in the courts. We're winning at the federal and state levels. Thank you for watching Second Legacy, and we'll talk to you guys soon.